live everywhere. So you guys know we are on YouTube, Facebook, Patreon, Twitch. I believe even Claire's LinkedIn we're doing live as well. And so I'm going to bring her on in a moment, but feel free to follow along with the painting lesson and put in your comments down below. Hello, Michael B. on YouTube. Great to see you. And we will be happy to address any questions or comments as we go. I'll make sure she sees them. And once again, thank you guys so much for being here. And if you haven't already, check out her Patreon, patreon.com/Clare Cooley. It's a great way to stay up to date with all of her work and see all the cool stuff she's doing. You can join for free, or for $5 a month, you'll get access to all of her SVGs, which are digital stencil files. There's a bunch on there, more coming, and she's going to be putting up more art. It's a really cool deal. All right, I'm going to welcome her onto the stream now. And here is Clare Cooley.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. Bodhi introduced me. I'm Clare Cooley. This is the Creativity Show. It's all about the fun, fast, frugal, inexhaustible resources of love and imagination. With a strengthened connection to our imagination, which can ever grow, ever expand. The more things we try, the more we give ourselves permission to express our own unique creativity. Nobody else in the world has our perspective, and it is a gift we can give the world. Nobody else can give the world. And when we step into creative flow, we literally increase our happiness. When we express emotions through creatively, we stimulate our immune system. Feelings stimulate thoughts. So we get smarter, we get healthier, we get happier. What's not to love about that? And it is what I share because it's what helped me. Art saved my ass. Creativity was the safe, serene place that I found refuge through my dangerous and uncertain upbringing and many things that I've had to endure in my life. And
we're going to pause for just a quick moment. Michael said we have some audio interference coming in, and that might be that the audio setup needs a little adjusting. Hey, what do you know? It does, in fact.
Is the technology cooperating? Thank you for letting us know. Really appreciate it. Having our back. Is it working? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna be talking about the assets of creativity, heal us, enhance our lives, help others. Yep. Probably, but not certainly, huh?
Sure thing. Michael says that it's working now, but I see that we might want to reset your internet on your laptop. You know, life is like this, guys.
Yes, it is. When you have, I mean, I love #2 pencils and paints for the simplicity. I'm the hands-on artist, the simple tools. And I love it and appreciate it that my son Bodhi is a movie maker and does all the technology part. It's not my nature to be complicated with the tools, but we're a great team, and I love combining our very separate, very different skill sets, my hands-on and his technical facileness. And is it working? Yeah?
It should now be working.
Okay, I lost my stuff on the way. Okay, now.
Let's see if we can get it fixed, Michael. It's just that's life when you got a lot of different computer pieces together. No matter how many times I do this, it seems to come up with new problems for itself. It has a mind of its own.
There are lots of parts. Your number 2 pencil has the lead inside the wood and usually an eraser at the other end. That's about as complicated as I like it, but we couldn't reach you without technology. So I'm very grateful for these sophisticated tools that require all kinds of knowledge that I am so grateful my son is inspired to learn and keep learning and keep dealing with the technical issues that come up. And things change. And when you think about it, that this image and my voice is going across the world, people can see it live. They can see it later on the Creativity Show in the live stream category. They can hear my whole book that I recorded in audio and was read while I was painting. They can see the 50 different stencil outfits, hundreds of different articles of clothing I did and have shown in front of the camera. Lots of...
Yeah, Michael says it's looking better, it's sounding better. Great.
And lots of home decor. So we're going to move on to some visual art. We have Bodhi's first 2 paintings with Sumi ink, his bamboo, the first one, and this Oriole that's on a branch. Is that how you pronounce it? Oriole? Oriole. It's not an Oreo cookie. It's an Oriole. And he is going to continue working. And as I said, his very first Sumi brushstroke painting, his second, and today he's going to do a third. And we're doing this to show you how you can just begin. You don't have to compete with anyone or get anyone else's approval. You get to enjoy the process, and the more permission you give yourself to enjoy learning and trying new things, the more creatively confident you can become. So that's a wonderful thing. And over here in the set, he's going to turn the camera so you can see the 4 seasons that I'm working on. Here was a test piece above it, across the mantle there, that's the horizontal 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, autumn, 4 elements: air, water, earth, fire, 4 primary colors: blue, green, yellow, red, 4 types of sky: night, snow, dawn, rain, midday, rainbow, dusk, lightning, and 4 kinds of botanicals: the evergreen, the flowers, the dry grasses in the summer, and the autumn leaves, fall, maple leaves. So this 4 seasons scroll paintings here that I worked on yesterday, he's going to show you a little time lapse of me working on that. And he's going to go back in the office so he can show you that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of beginning an art piece, choosing what we want to do. I highly recommend, as you're watching this, I'll continue talking about this. I highly recommend, that might be the river one, but that's fine. The waterfall, that's okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, while you figure it out, can they hear me? Okay, I don't see anything on, there we go. So while we're deciding, everybody, I've heard more times than anything else in my life, I wish I was more creative. I've heard other people say and compliment me, you're so creative. How'd you get so creative? And you work in so many different mediums. And it's the benefit that came from out of the hardship, the adversity turned to advantage, I like to call it, by turning it into art. It is a safe place I found, and my artist mother encouraged to survive and come to thrive through the challenges I've had. And it is a universally serene place. Our imaginations are a freedom we can give ourselves. So give yourself the freedom of what inspires you. And I'm inspired by the master designer nature. So my work is nature's my muse, and my first published work, the Book of Cranes, inspired by the 15 species of cranes. My memoir, my second published book, is got 68 pieces of art, and it's all different kinds of nature, from outer space to insects, lots of birds. I love flight and the weightlessness that birds can achieve soaring on the wind, and the perspective. So they dance, they sing. There's so many things about them that inspire me. So ask yourself, and sometimes going back to your childhood, your earliest recollections, is a good way to rekindle that flame of inspiration. What as a child inspired you? And sometimes the responsibilities of life can cover over our garden of delight, and we have to get in there and weed it and find those sprouts and blossoms that inspire us. And so what inspires you, you may still know, you may retrieve it, you may uncover something that doing that leads to something else. It's a process, and it never ends, hopefully. It doesn't have to end. We can keep exploring. So when I do, like, this series is the story of the seasons and in the interconnectedness of all things. I call it the essence of everything, because the colors, the elements, the times of day, the different types of light, the seasons, the botanicals, there's even creatures that go on that have been stenciled onto the kimonos that will be part of the performance piece this is leading to, that will combine visual, audio art, spoken word, music, choreography, set design, costume, all inspired by basically the four seasons. So what's the mission, I ask myself before I begin a series or a painting or a piece of writing or a dance, whatever it is, an outfit. What is the feeling I want to achieve? And for me, the essence of everything is the interconnectedness of us to everything in nature, in the world, in the cosmos, in the universe. So that's the mission, the interconnectedness. And then
Joni B on YouTube said, "I'm excited to see more painting today."
Good, we're getting to it. And you showed the essence of everything, four seasons, and then come on out and we'll begin your third painting.
I showed it while you were talking.
All right, let me get to the end of this by showing that one more time. So what I want to say is, if you know the feeling you want to express, the mission of the piece of art or series, that's all you need to know to begin. and give yourself permission to explore that feeling and feel it and express it. So here the feeling is the interconnectedness, the diversity in the world, that all is connected to one another, us, nature, the elements, the animals, the botanicals. So the colors, the elements, the times of day and night. So there we go. And give yourself breaks. I call them perspective breaks, which I'm doing with this. I just added these in more intense colors yesterday. So now I'm giving myself a perspective break, and we're going to go to Bodhi's painting. Are you ready? Come on out. And we'll turn on this overhead camera so you can see this happen. What Bodhi's going to try for the first time today is, instead of adding color, look, can we put this in the camera?
I am going to add that overhead camera. One moment, guys.
And you're going to turn this camera so they can see this.
Yeah.
Oops. Clothespins, which in the movie industry they call C-47s. I just love how they make even the simplest thing, a clothespin, into a fancy sounding C-47. It's a clothespin. So here's Bodhi's first bird, and instead of adding the orange of the Oriole, he's going to use it to trace, and we're going to show you how that happens. Pick that up and let's put this under. And is that now in the camera?
It is.
Okay, so I suggest just to try something different, that maybe you want to try a vertical.
Great.
And put it somewhere else. So the first thing he's going to do is light lines with the beautiful, simple 2B pencil. And he's going to put that on there for you to see.
I was a little scared to add color to this. I kind of got attached to how simple it was, so now I just figured, why don't we, maybe could we just do a whole new one, and then I can't ruin this one.
Whatever gives you confidence to try things is what you should do. Your head is right in front of the camera.
Thank you.
So maybe you want to, so that they can see what you're doing.
You see, it does take like a stage manager. You need help. Can't.
Now, if you could, is that working? Can the camera see it now? I'm going to move.
Do you want me to get that closer for you?
I'm going to get that closer while you keep working. All right, I put the mic on the table here so that we can both talk. And so whatever gives you the confidence to begin. I like to say that it doesn't really matter creatively what we do, as long as we do something, we're going to learn from it. And we're going to step into creative flow, which medically documented, proven, increases our happiness. So expressing emotions stimulates our immune system. Feelings initiate thoughts. And a lot of the time we end up something that we can enhance our home or work environment or give as a gift or make an outfit that expresses our style. Or there's so many, you know, I've made dishes, I've designed furniture, I've made jewelry, I've designed clothes and made art to wear, painted on them, floral designs, tabletop, mobiles. All right, did you get his? That's very soft, but that's all right. If you can see it, that's what we need. All right, so now with that, can they see that? It's hard.
You guys probably can't see it very well, but hopefully we'll get some color on it soon.
All right. So, want to clip this on the other side, and I'll get. Now, do you want to go for Sumi ink and then maybe try the orange of the Oreo? Or
I think so. Might as well.
now there's also pencils.
You're the guide.
I'm the guide, and what a good guide does, when I like to say I'm a guide for people on the way home to themselves. So since it's your creativity, your imagination, where I'm hoping to guide you to express what feels like you want to explore. Pencils or paints, Sumi or watercolor, acrylics, those are your choices. So you have pencils, pick up the pencil tray and hold it under the...
So Joni said, yes, C47s, that's a fun fact. Yeah, they want to make it sound like an expensive line item. You can't justify
I don't know
charging a lot for clothespins.
Yeah, so I have no idea what in the movie industry they actually charge for a clothespin, but they call it a C47. Our friend who's won a bunch of Emmys told me about that, and I just thought it was hilarious. So, pencils?
Sure.
Okay, let's go for pencils.
The idea here was I just didn't want to ruin this one that I put a lot of time in, so this one I can be more haphazard and we can fly. We can let our creativity fly. So
okay, so
just hand it to me, and
that's a black. So are you going to go for the actual Oreo coloring, which
yes.
is orange and black?
Yes.
All right. So what I would suggest is that you start where you know because you've done the bird before, is really black, and there you go. You started. Yay. So you're once again hiding what they can see. There you go.
This is. Let me just get comfortable.
All right, silly. Okay.
Next time I'll maybe put a zoom lens on this. I suppose here's what we can do.
Get it close. There we go, Mr. Cameraman, Mr. Movie Maker. I'm gonna sharpen.
All right, that should help.
Give you this one because it doesn't need an extender. Start, in my opinion, the best is to start where it's blackest and then go lighter on the way in to give it that curve, that sense of being a curved object instead of a flat.
Okay. You mean darker around the edges of its head and lighter as I go in?
That is right. That shading will give it a sense that it's curved instead of a flat object. Yes. So if you get that dark on the head and then come in lighter, it adds to the curving. And pencil, when my first visual art exploration was Sumi brushstroke as a meditation. I didn't think, of becoming an artist. I just was following the feeling of doing the mixing the Sumi ink and the Suzuri because it was so meditative and peaceful, and then doing the 5 blades of grass study that I found in this book, and then from there I just did whatever I wanted to. My mother consummately trained at a fine art school in Boston, getting a fine art degree and all that, growing up in museums. She told me, you don't have to know the rules because you just have to forget them. You have your own way and you follow it and you stop when it's done. And so I was very blessed to have a mother that believed in me so much and encouraged me to explore my own imagination. And that's what I try to do with the people that I'm a creativity coach for. Right now it's you guys and Bodhi, but it's all about exploring your own ideas and not trying to please or get the approval of anyone else. That's irrelevant. It's we get to enjoy our own imaginations, and it's very healthy to do so, and it gives us great problem-solving ability. The more creative resourcefulness we have access to. Now, start with shapes before you fill them in. Yeah, you've got that. I would say that a little branch would really help because he's kind of just standing in space, unless that's the look you want. You want your branch, or you can just, I think you could just do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do it the way you did it already.
Something like that?
Sure. Just give him something to stand on since he's standing. Very good. All right, you can give that a little bit of form, and you don't have to do the whole thing, just some. And I love drawing wood because it's got grains in it. So I would use the number 2 pencil if you want to try this idea. And you start maybe with a circle, an oblong in there, and now draw around it like you see in wood. And then around that. And then sometimes it goes off like waves. I love the pattern in wood.
Yeah.
And different kinds of wood have different sorts of patterns, and I think that's really kind of beautiful. And that could be something you might want to even do with a wood color.
Okay. Well, let's make him. Should we make the bird dramatic?
Sure. Let's not rush it. Enjoy it. You want to do some more wood lines while you're there and get your hand really flowing?
Thanks for being here, Michael. He's got a jet, he says. Sure, wood lines. See you next time, Michael.
Nice that you're here, Michael.
So you mean these lines?
Yeah. Why not? And they're kind of a low-risk way to get your hand flowing, get your line flowing, and then you can go in and shade or add a second color. Sometimes, wood has a number of colors in it, whatever you feel like. But this gives it some substance. And it gives it some solidity instead of just floating in space. So let me have those pencils, get them out of your way. And why don't you just finish this area so they're kind of, it's a branch the bird is standing on. And it's different than the Sumi. Okay, if you're going to shade, the side of the pencil is really good because it's a soft
And give it like the shady sort of roundness. What were you thinking?
That, you know, dark line down just a little bit. It doesn't have to shade all the way across to give it the curving.
Like this.
Yeah, go softer quickly. There you go.
So the tip of the pencil at the edge of the shape. That
Right.
way you're using the side of the
Right.
pencil lead.
Yeah. And then
your firmest connection is right at the tip, and it's softer this way.
yeah, and you can see how little you need to put in to give it that shape, and it doesn't need to be even. And now we're going to turn this around so you can do the other side of the branch and see how, with very little,
Where you love to see where the
it's hard for me to see that. I gotta tell you.
we can bring it closer.
It's all right. So give that some shading while I try to get that closer by moving it towards.
I feel like my shading made it kind of lose its defined edge.
Well, sometimes, you know, the light, the property of light does not hit all surfaces the same. It depending on where the light is coming from and what kind of light it is. And God light is when the sky is so filled with so much mist that there's no shadows. But generally the sun is coming from one direction, so where it hits is going to be the brightest, and then it's going to get darker and curve away from it. All right, you want to go for the Orioles color now?
Yes.
All right, you get to pick it. Oranges.
It's like a jack-o'-lantern orange, so...
I love picking color. It's like candy.
Nice. Indeed. We're in a candy shop then.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find jack-o'-lantern.
Maybe that one.
That's looking a little pinkish. Maybe
No,
a
it could be
mixture
a
of those
combination of several colors that you end up doing to actually get the feeling of the Orioles color.
Ironically, the color of the outside of a number 2 pencil is kind of the color I'm looking for, and I can't really find a perfect match for that.
Well, you might have to mix it. That's part of the artistic process. So what I would do is start with whatever you think is closest, and maybe that's it.
That still might be the closest, and
Okay.
it'll be light. And then
Start with that, and then we'll see if you want to mix another color. Okay. Now, once again, I would say that you want to do
the shading.
Yep. Start with the.
Can we?
I'm going to move the pencils off the table so you have more room.
Right. All right, we're oranging up.
So it's a very dramatic color combination this bird has. It's orange and black. And
It is. There's a lot of drama. This birdie.
He's not afraid to be bright. We don't know. Well, maybe there are scientists and aviculturists who know what this bird sees, but I don't. And so we don't know if the bird sees this color as bright as we do. But it could be, as in the animal kingdom, there are often the males are more flamboyantly colored and have physical attributes to attract the female, and sometimes that's what shows her his vitality or makes him favorable to father her eggs. So do we want to get the beak in there?
Yeah. What is the color of the beak?
Do you want to look that up?
I'm gonna look at my Oriole picture.
They usually have some gray and black. Sometimes they have some greenish, sometimes some bluish, but there are some beaks that are kind of bone colored. That's him.
Bone colored.
He's a bone colored beak
And
guy.
I actually colored in this, which was supposed to be white. These parts of his wing were supposed to be white. These were orange.
Well, you have an eraser, which is one of the wonderful things about pencils. Here's some.
That's his beak color, I guess.
Yeah, and you're probably going to need a little bit of something to give it the curving shape.
Maybe just shading a little bit of.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a dark pencil that could work. And so let me get you. Erasers can be a drawing tool. Sometimes erasing can be a way to create a look.
Create a highlight, right?
Right. So let's first try it on this so you don't get any other color. Hand me your pencil so you have a hand. And let's put this on this side so we have. So.
And they make pointy erasers, right? That are shaped like a pencil.
Yeah, but they don't work as well. And I have I have all kinds of erasers and different materials and different mediums. But that's working. I'm gonna get my brush tool. Here it is.
Yeah, it's not quite as good at erasing the color as.
It's all right.
That's okay. We can just do some maybe.
You can also.
Some
There are many choices that go ahead and erase whatever parts, and so you know what parts you want to end up white. And
Well, we'll just say, oops, I didn't look at my picture, and this Oriole doesn't have white parts in its wing.
Well, there's also with your sharp pencil, why don't you give the eye some more definition, not filled in, but more definition. And last resort is some acrylic white paint, which we'll lay on top and make it bright white, which I did for my little bird big flower painting, to put a white reflection of the light in the very center of the eye. I used the white paint. So we can do that here if you choose. So give the wing its definition, and then this pencil might be what you want to create more of the black in the black parts. And this time, you know, keep it where there's actually black because you don't want to erase it if you don't have to.
You know, doing a little bit of creative
Well,
license
guess
with the
what?
shape.
You know, when we do, one of the things that's so so satisfying and so good for us about stepping into creative flow is that we can't do it wrong. My judgment is unless we hurt ourselves, other people, or, you know, waste a lot of material and use toxic stuff. There are some things that I don't think are right, but basically you can't do it wrong. It's your imagination, it's your aesthetic. You get to do it the way you want to. And unless you've been hired to do, you know, illustrations for a scientific text, it doesn't have to look like the bird. It doesn't, you get creative license. I have a interesting story. When I took the 15 watercolor Prismacolor paintings I did of the 15 species of cranes back to the International Crane Foundation in Baraboo, Wisconsin, to their annual meeting to show it. The first time it was shown to a group of people, they were scientists and aviculturists and crane experts. So I was very, very nervous about one particular painting of the sandhill cranes because I was compelled to make them this kind of golden. And they're normally a kind of ruddy brown, but I just had to. My instincts told me to. And one of the bird experts came up to me at that dinner and said, how did you know? Very few people have ever seen this or photographed this, but sometimes the sandhill cranes rub mustard root on their wings and turn this golden color. And I'm like, wow, how wonderful that was, that giving myself permission to take artistic license and make them this golden color I really like turned out to be representative of something real about the cranes. So if you're going to do that, be very spare.
Gives breaks up the outside because they're made of feathers. They're out the exterior.
They're soft.
Yes, so they're not really all these smooth cartoon lines.
Okay, so now I would say the eye.
The eye's black with a white highlight.
So you've made it pretty tight in there to keep a white. Did they have any white around their eye? No, not really.
Just a little bit under where it catches the light on its sort of lower eyelid, but I'd say the highlight is that right there.
Let me get that pencil super sharp for you to do that, and meanwhile you can use this pencil.
I'm kind of outlining a shape of what's going to remain white, and then filling in the rest with a little bit of dark. That's the highlight.
Okay, and just where you already have the black, make it a little blacker than the eye should be, in my opinion, the focal point. So the blackest black you have in the drawing. And then give the feet, legs a little more substance, and I'll be right back with the other bird.
Pressing too hard, cracked the pencil. It's a bit sharp. But even with a pencil lead that snapped, you can find the sharp part if you use the right angle. I snapped it a little bit.
It happens.
And bird legs tend to have, they're kind of scaly, so they kind of have a little spiral to them sometimes.
That is also true. But what the eye sees, what the brain feels, because that's where feelings happen in the limbic core of our brain, can be very different than what is actually there. But okay, well, I'm just going to wait. Nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right. So what I want to show you guys is the feeling of, one person's interpretation of a bird. And let's take.
Let me check stuff. Do you need to
Take that clip off. So there's that bird that he just did in front of you in that half hour. And there's this bird he painted with Sumi, which I think you should put the eye in before you finish because it hasn't had its eye. Here you go. And then you go check things while I show what I want to show as far as.
It's where's the sharpeners over there?
You want to get one of the other pencils while I check things?
Sure. I'll start with a normal number 2. It makes him look like he's looking up if I do a circular highlight. Kind of makes him look like he's got a pupil looking straight up, so it's better to make the highlight not
Circular.
so circular.
And I don't know which famous artist said, if you draw what you see, wait till you see what you draw. Meaning we have to interpret it. It's not exactly, we're not a camera. We are a brain that is commanding our extremities. And let's give the beak some curving, shading, and then a little bit goes a long way. And other than, to me, this is a very hard line, so, it's all right.
I can't seem to work with those pencils. They don't like me.
No, they like you. They just are very sensitive, and what I want to show people is the difference in style and energy that comes through our creative expressions is always fun to observe.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks very flat because instead of having curving dimensionality, is that a word?
It is now. Right?
Right, exactly. That's how words happen. So this side needs some curving. The reason the shading helps in here is that, you know, light hits a curved surface very different than it hits a flat surface.
Yeah.
So there you go. So, all right, you want to go see what you need to address in the office? And can we move the cameras up or back so I can show a little more?
Sure.
There we go.
I just have to refocus, so bear with me, everybody. If you could leave the art on there.
I'm just having both of them on.
It just helps me focus. I need something to focus on. There we go.
Excellent.
Yeah. Cool.
So, all right.
Yeah, that's fun. They've definitely got different feelings, different vibes.
All right. So what I find interesting is that Bodhi's two birds, his first black and white bird of his life, and his first colored bird, bird with color, is here, and they have their separate and distinct feelings. And in my opinion, they have, you know, they feel more like Bodhi, and I find the difference between.
Joni said something about Orioles. I want to say real quick before we move on to a bird. My neighbor attracts yellow Orioles to his yard, and they are nearly fluorescent against the trees. Also, orange Orioles are actually attracted to orange slices.
Wow.
Who'da thunk?
They must think that that's it must look familiar to them. So I think this bird, mine, and this bird, Bodhi's, is very poignant. The style difference. Yeah, I will say much more masculine and much more feminine, stronger looking, more delicate looking. So it is interesting how we do impart our feelings, our essence, our style in whatever we do. And that's why it's so wonderful if we share that with the world, because every one of us is different. Bodhi has a real dramatic. I have, you know, a more serene. Both make the world a more beautiful, richer, more expressive place. I do believe that the world needs all of our perspectives to be whole and balanced. And so I hope that some of this encourages you to share your style, to enjoy discovery, to step into your creative flow, increase your happiness, and share it with us, because it's so deeply gratifying when we share our work with the world. And so that's what this show is all about. Next Monday, every Monday and Thursday at noon Central Time, I'm going to possibly, though I try not to put myself in any box, and I have something I think is funny. Bodhi tells me never announce it, that it's funny, because then it's not funny when you announce it, but I can't seem to help it. But you know why human beings don't really fit in boxes? Because we're not square. I am goofy, corny, and silly, but hey, you know, it makes me laugh. That's good enough. So I'm not going to put myself in a box and say I'm going to finish this before next Monday and show it to you, the 4 seasons, but that could happen. I like, as I said many times. My style is reductionist, simplicity, hopefully elegant and simple. So I do sometimes, fill in. I have outer space paintings. I have paintings of all sorts, cities at sunset, birds in a forest that are fully saturated. But there's still something hopefully elegantly simple about the design. That's the aesthetic that I'm most moved by ever since I was a little girl. The parts of the art museums, my mother would always say that I would just stop and stare at this work for hours, would be often the Asian screens and carving jade bowls and such, simple, elegant design. So I'm going to work on this, perhaps finish it and show you it in process and move on to the next project, which is going to be the closest thing to a mural I've ever done. In essence, it will be a 10-foot long mural, a series of 7 scroll paintings next to each other telling one story. That will be hung on our back staircase wall, and it will be, well, I'll wait to share that with you probably Monday, definitely by Thursday, how I design it and what I choose to put in it, so it can help inspire and inform you how you can design and do your work, whatever you choose it to be. And to remind people that I do these stencil designs and I try to wear a stenciled outfit. Can we turn the overhead on from in there? Stencil scarf design. So I do these stencils. I have 18 flowers up on my Patreon that members get for no additional fee. Free members get all the other information, but the $5 a month members also get all the stencil designs they can download and use any way you like. And the next series will be the 28 warblers and wildflowers series, and then cranes, and then seashells, and all kinds of, I think there's up to 300. So we're going to keep them coming out. We've had a lot of things going on recently, so I had to take a break from making those designs into SVGs.
Correct.
And what we've been working on is tell them about the Catalyst and the other film festivals.
Yeah, well, we've gotten the TV show screenplay and pitch based on her memoir, Incandescence Rising Above Darkness, selected to the world's largest independent TV festival, Catalyst Content Festival. Right over here is a QR code you can scan to see her book right now. It's a wonderful memoir, epic story. And so, yeah, we've got that. And one of my short films got selected to a film festival here in Duluth. All that's coming up in October. It's going to be a lot of fun. So her book that I adapted into a screenplay, that screenplay is going to be featured in the live script reading, and the pitch that I made for that script for that TV show is going to be featured in the live pitch competition. That's all here in October in Duluth.
Well, excellent. Well, once again, thank you guys for being here, and thanks for commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing to the YouTube channel, the Patreon. There is a free membership part, as well as the $5 a month that get all the stencils for no extra cost. Please tell your friends. We do not do anything but word of mouth to share what we're doing. I love the organic growth and sharing, and it really makes me happy to help others on their way home to themselves and their own creativity. And I love it when people share what we're doing with their friends and community. So thank you so much for being here. We'll be back on Monday at noon. Thank you for your help, Bodhi. Thanks, Joni and Michael, for your comments. And we will see